The boy went to the funeral of his father's best friend. He sat far away, bored and quiet. An old man sat next to him and whispered, "If I were you, I wouldn't be sitting here." The boy ignored him. Later, his father called him to say goodbye at the grave. The boy looked at the photo on the tombstone and froze. It was the same man. That night, the boy had nightmares about the man. After days of fear, he told his father everything. His father went pale and said, "That was my friend's twin brother. If you don't want a scare like this, comment your best friends. Did you know not all monsters in Japan are evil?" A young girl was kidnapped by 3 men near a quiet riverside village. They tied her hands and threw him into an old wooden boat. The river was too silent. As the boat drifted deeper into the mist, something moved beneath the water. A ripple, a shadow, green skin. A kappa watched from below. The kidnappers laughed until the boat suddenly flipped. Water exploded everywhere. The men screamed as something dragged at their legs. The kappa pulled the girl safely to shore, but the 3 men were furious. They grabbed the creature and forced its head under the river. The water turned dark. The river went still. The 3 men were missing. To stay safe, like, subscribe, and leave a love sign in the comment. Did you know in Japan some old bridges are haunted by a woman who shouldn't be seen at night? A boy was walking home alone. At dusk, he saw an old lady standing in the middle of a bridge. She smiled, but something was wrong. Curious, he stepped closer. The moment he looked into her eyes, he froze. She whispered things that didn't make sense. That night, he heard slow footsteps in his room. The old lady was at his bedroom door. The next morning, the police entered his house. They found the boy dead on the floor beside him, written in red, "I've been waiting for you on the bridge. If you don't want this old lady to come for you tonight, like and subscribe and leave an old lady emoji in the comments." In Japan, they say, if your homework disappears, it's already too late. A boy was bullied every day at school. They pushed him, made him cry, laughed at him. One day, he had an important essay. He had worked so hard. When he checked his notebook, it was empty. Behind him, the bullies were laughing. They had erased everything. The next morning, the boy never returned to school. No traces, no clues. But slowly, the bullies started disappearing one by one. If you don't want to disappear tonight, comment a school emoji. In America, they say if you see a creature half goat, half man, it's already too late. A man was driving home on a lonely road. He saw something crossing the bridge ahead. Tall, hairy, horns catching the moonlight. He slammed on the brakes. The creature, half goat, half man, stood in front of him. Terrified, he tried to start the car, but it wouldn't turn on. When he looked behind, the creature was there, motionless, watching him. The next morning, travelers passing by found him dead in his car. On the side of the vehicle, there was a note. "Your skin tastes delicious. Did you know that if you give a kappa a cucumber, it will grant you one wish?" A quiet riverside village in Japan, a poor fisherman sat by the water, but there were no fish left to catch. Hungry and desperate, he remembered what his grandfather once told him. If you ever meet a kappa, give it a cucumber and it will grant you one wish. So, the fisherman carved his name into a fresh cucumber and gently placed it into the river. The water began to swirl. The kappa reached up. He asked the kappa for the river to be full of fish again. The kappa accepted the offering. The next morning, the river was overflowing with fish. His nets were heavy. One day, the kappa rose again. This time, it croaked one sack of cucumber. The fisherman refused. "You won't believe what happened. But first, like, subscribe, and leave a cucumber emoji in the comment for safety." The kappa dragged him under the, "If something pulls you under the river, don't look down." Takashi was swimming alone in a quiet river, ignoring local warnings. Suddenly, something grabbed his leg, pulling him down. Under the water, he saw it. A kappa, a turtle green skin, and the water-filled plate on its head. He remembered his grandfather's warning. If you bow to bow back. Kakashi bowed underwater. The kappa bowed back. The magical water spilled from its head when he reached the shore. For strange marks on his leg. To be safe, like, subscribe, and leave a love. In Japan, they say, if you see the janitor cleaning at midnight, it's already too late. 2 friends stayed after school, hiding until the building was empty. They thought it would be fun to explore until night fell. As they were about to go to sleep, they heard the floor creaking. Slow, deliberate steps. It was the janitor. But something was wrong. He was taller than usual, pale, hunched, and his eyes were completely white. Terrified, they ran to the doors, all locked. When they turned back, the janitor was there smiling, and said, "Do you want to play?" If you never want to see your janitor at night, comment a broom emoji.
Did you know if you eat the food of a kappa, you may never return home? A young man secretly befriended a mysterious creature. Unlike the stories, this kappa was kind to him. One night, Kappa wants him to come over to their home. Curious and excited, the man agreed. Then suddenly, Kappa grabbed his leg under the river's portal. When they arrived, he was stunned. Many kappa welcomed him. The world shimmered like an enchanted place. Glowing plants, golden fish, crystal clear water, dancing like stars. The kappa smiled and served him a strange black dish. Suddenly, the man remembered his grandfather's warning. "We'll never return." He hesitated. "Before we continue, like, subscribe, and leave a clover emoji for luck, because you won't believe what happened." The temptation won. He took a bite. The portal closed. The man trapped forever. as a servant beneath the...
In Japan, they say, if you destroy a snowman, it's already too late. A boy was bullied every winter. One year, he spent 3 days crafting the perfect snowman. The bullies laughed when they saw it and destroyed it completely. The boy cried alone in the cold. Days later, he disappeared. No one knew where he went. The bullies laughed at his absence until one by one, they began vanishing. Each was found dead, twisted, and broken. Next to every body, a snowman stood frowning. You don't want a snowman coming for you. Comment snowman emoji. Did you know in Japan you should never give directions at night? A man was walking home when a woman stopped him asking for help. She looked normal, quiet, polite. He pointed down the street and kept walking. But after a few steps, he heard it. Footsteps matching his pace. He turned. She was still there smiling. He walked faster. So did the footsteps. When he reached his door, he felt breathing behind his neck. The next morning, his neighbors found him dead at his front door. Around his neck was a note that read, "Wrong direction. If you don't want this woman to follow you home at night, like and subscribe and leave an arrow emoji in the comments." Did you know that in Japan there's a man who appears only during snowstorms? Travelers say when the wind suddenly goes silent, he's already close. A little girl once saw him standing in the mountains surrounded, music by falling snow. He spared her but warned her never to speak of him. She kept that secret for years. One winter night, she finally told her husband. The next morning, she was found frozen in her bed. No broken windows, just snow on the floor and a single wet footprint beside her pillow. If you don't want him to visit you during the next snowstorm, like and subscribe and leave a snowflake emoji in the comments. Did you know in Japan, some phones ring even after someone dies? A college student named Haru lost his grandmother months ago, but he never deleted her number. One night, his phone rang. Unknown number. When he answered, he heard her voice.
I'll see you very soon.
He thought it was a prank, but the calls kept coming. Always at 2:43 a.m. I'm getting closer. One night, Haru disappeared without a trace. No footprints, no clues. To this day, no one knows what happened to him. If you love your grandma, comment a grandma emoji. Have you heard of the pop-up ad that you can't escape from? One night, a man named Hiroshi was working his late shift at a small store in Japan. 2 high school boys walked in talking about a classmate obsessed with something called the Red Room. His parents found him dead, his bedroom covered in blood. Later alone, Hiroshi searched it online. Articles linked it to recent deaths. Then a pop-up appeared. Do you like the Red Room? Tried to close it. It wouldn't disappear. The screen split, revealing a list of names. His friend Kenji's name was on it. The door slammed shut. The message appeared again. If you never want to visit this website, comment a laptop emoji. Did you know in Japan some turtles aren't just turtles? By the river, a young girl fed a tiny turtle every afternoon. It was adorable. Round eyes, slow little steps. It would follow her like a puppy, just with worse speed. One day, the turtle waddled toward her, right into the middle of the road. That's when 2 bad boys passed by. One of them kicked the turtle. The girl cried. The boys walked away laughing and say, "Relax. It's just a turtle." They didn't know the turtle belonged to a kappa. The river suddenly rippled. You won't believe what happened. But first, like, subscribe, and leave a turtle sign for safety. Never trust your cousins. They might not be who they say they are. Daniel was having a sleepover with his cousin. Late at night, he went to the bathroom. When he returned, music. His cousin was awake, sitting perfectly still, staring at him, eyes completely black. Something felt wrong. He froze and stayed quiet. The next morning, his parents came to wake him up. When they entered the room, their son was standing there perfectly still, staring at them. If you don't want your family to act strange tonight, music. Comment a family emoji. Did you know that in Japan people claim to see something strange on hot summer days? They call her the Silk Woman. It happened to a girl visiting his grandparents in the countryside. While walking near the rice fields, she noticed a tall white figure in the distance wrapped entirely in silk. There was no wind. It swayed too smoothly to be a scarecrow. Curious, her older sister looked at it through her phone. The moment she zoomed in, she went silent. Later that night, she started breathing in a slow, strange rhythm. Their grandmother panicked and said, "You can look at her from far away, but if you try to understand her, something inside you breaks." A few days later, the older sister disappeared. If you never want to see the Silk Woman, comment a barn emoji in the comments. A man found an old doll beneath the floor of an abandoned house. It had glass eyes and real human hair, too lifelike, too detailed. He took it home. That night, he left it in his car. By morning, the windows were fogged from the inside, and the doll was sitting upright facing the driver's seat. At home, cold air followed it from room to room. His dog growled at nothing. His kid swore its eyes moved. When he locked it in a box, it scratched from the inside. They called it, "Let Me Out." Psychics claimed it held the soul of a drowned boy. Visitors still say it moves, even inside the glass case. In Japan, they say if you hear teak near the train tracks, don't look back. A girl who was half Japanese and half American was bullied at school. Her classmates blamed her for everything and mocked her constantly. One day after class, they were forced to clean the school grounds. A boy snapped, yelled that it was all her fault and dumped trash all over her. Humiliated, she ran to the train station. In the crowd, someone pushed her onto the tracks. The train cut her in half. Days later, her bullies waited alone on the platform. Then they heard it. Tay. Something crawled toward them and whispered, "Now you know how it feels to be half." Like and subscribe. If your wife never eats in front of you, Don't spy on her at night. Leave the house. Kenji married Yuki. She always said she wasn't hungry, yet his rice vanished every night. One night, he pretended to sleep and watched her. She untied her hair. A second mouth opened on the back of her head. More. It whispered as her hair fed it rice. Kenji gasped slowly. Her head turned toward him. Both mouths were smiling. He ran into the night and never came back. Years later, she's still there, still hungry. To stay safe, choosing a spouse. Like, subscribe, and leave a mouth in the comments. In Japan, they say if your train stops at a station you've never heard of, it's already too late. A woman named Humi was on the last train home. The train skipped every station until it arrived at one she had never heard of. The sign read Kisaragi Station. No record of it anywhere. No maps, no schedules. Humi got off. There was no one, no buildings, just tracks and darkness. She sent messages asking for help. Then nothing, no body, no trace. And no one has heard from Humi since. If you don't want to end up at a train station you've never heard of, like and subscribe and leave a train emoji in the comments. Two best friends were bullied every day at school. They walked home together, silent, bruised, pretending it was nothing. But one of them got tired of being weak. He chose to survive. He joined the bullies. He laughed at his friend, helped push him around. One afternoon, near a busy highway, the joke went too far. They shoved him into the road. A truck didn't stop. They laughed. Days later, one by one, the bullies disappeared. Each was found on a different highway, lying on the asphalt, dead. If you don't want your best friend to betray you, like and subscribe and leave a car emoji in the comments. Did you know in the United States there are black-eyed children? One snowy night, loud knocking woke a couple. Two kids stood outside, underdressed, heads down. Can we come in? Something felt wrong, but they let them inside. The house grew cold. Their cat hid and hissed. I feel dizzy, the husband whispered. The children slowly looked up. Their eyes were completely black. Our parents are here, they said. Two tall figures waited at the end of the driveway. The door creaked, shut, and the cat kept staring at the hallway. If you don't want to run into these children, comment a kid emoji.